Welcome to my channel Education by Haneet. So today we are going to do the chapter The Last Stonemason. Okay. Now this chapter will be highlighting the conflict between tradition and modernization. Okay. It will portray an old sculptor who finds joy carving idols. Okay. What are idols? Making statues of gods or goddess. Okay. While his ambitious son Gopal, he was not at all interested in this job because it was very slow, because it was the money from this work, it was very slow and he want to make fast money. So he wants to go to Agra to make more money and do something, explore something new there. Okay, so now let's see what happens in the chapter. So let's start. What will happen to a dying art? Will it survive the last stonemason? Now let us know what dying art is first of all. So dying art is a skill or a practice that is being disappearing nowadays. Why it is disappearing? Because of modernization. People are not preferring it, or there are very less people left who know this. Okay, so this is what dying art is. Now let's start with the chapter. The young man flung the hammer and chisel to the ground and cried, I am leaving, father. I am leaving you and this work. Look what it's brought us. So the young man is Gopal, the sculptor's son. He flung the hammer and chisel because he was working on the sculpture. Okay. So he said, I am leaving you and this work. So he wants to leave him and his work. He abandoned his father and his work. Okay. He spread out his arms and glanced disdainfully at the small, congested workroom, the slabs of stone and marble stacked in one corner, and the old cot, covered with a pile of used clothes in the other. Now, these lines are describing the room he is working in and the only room they had. Okay, so there only they have to work, and then it was very congested. It was a very small room. The slabs of stone and marble were stacked in one corner, and the old cot means where they used to pile up their old clothes, where they used to lie down. Okay, so they all just the room they had. Okay, to work also and to stay also. The whitewashed walls were stained by many monsoons. The whitewashed walls were stained by many monsoons means the paint was peeling after being exposed to many monsoons, because a monsoon is a moisture rich season. So the paint comes out, okay, because of moisture. The window, bare of curtains, opened into a tiny backyard. The window didn't even have curtains also in the room. And it opens into the tiny backyard. After all these years of work, this is all we have. Nothing, nothing. This kind of work just doesn't pay. So he's saying this traditional work, it is not paying us anything. And I can't live like this anymore. I want to earn more money. I want to live a good lifestyle. The old man stared at his son in astonishment. Astonishment means with great surprise. Okay. Now, although his voice trembled, it didn't lose its usual gentleness. Now, he gently asked him that, what is the matter, son? It's not only the money that matters, son. It's a service to God. Now, he is explaining him that just money doesn't matter. Money doesn't have all the value. What we are doing is a service to God, because he was making the sculptures of gods and goddesses. Okay. Then he said, Father. The young man grunted impatiently. Times have changed. The stonemason's work has changed too. You can't live on sculptures for temples only. He says you have to, expand your work. You can't just stick to only making the sculpture for temples. You have to expand the work so as to make more money. You have to mass produce. Mass produce means making bulk, make in great quantity. Okay. Mass produce like all the others in Agra. Come on, father. The lines around the old man's mouth tightened. The lines around the old man's mouth tightened means the old man showed displeasure. He was not at all happy with those things, what his son was saying. This is the work I learned from my father. He said, no, my son, this is the work I learned from my father, and he learned from his father. That was their ancestral work, so he doesn't want to leave it because he learned the same art from his father, and his father learned the same art from his father. So they were doing from generations. Okay, he said, we have kept up this tradition for hundreds of years, and I hope you would continue your work, because the work was passing from generation to generation, and he also wanted his son to do that, and then Gopal will teach his son, so he wants that this should continue. But Gopal said, "No, father." The young man replied with determination. He was very determined at that time that no, I am not going to do this, I am going to leave this work. There is much more money in ashtrays and plates for tourist shops. He said, I will go to Agra and I will make ashtrays and plates for tourists because it gives a lot of money. There is a lot of profit in making those things. He said, I am tired of working for a pittance. Now, what do you mean by working for a pittance? Means working for a very little money. He said, I can't work for little money now. For the committee of the temple in Srinagar, I am leaving, father. I will go to Agra, I will make more money, and I will make a name for myself. The young man stormed out of the room, leaving his father crouching in front of half-finished marble statue whose shape already suggested its future magnificence. Okay. Now his father, because he was already carving the statue, so he left the room and leaving his father doing that thing. And his father was also devastated by this and he was fearing the end of their artistic legacy. He thought that if Gopal will not continue this, then the legacy would end, then this art will die. Okay. He dropped his hands into his lap and closed his eyes. Now he was very much disappointed, so he just find out a way to just drop his hands into his lap and close his eyes. He began to pray and didn't even hear the hesitant say goodbye. His son called out from the door. He sat motionless, unaware of time and place. He was highly disappointed by this because now his son will leave him. He is so old, and what he will do alone. He was also disturbed by that. Okay. Master Ji called Salim. Now Salim was the servant boy of Master Ji. Okay. So Master Ji called Salim, the servant boy, entering the workshop barefooted. Okay. Now he was not wearing his slippers. He entered the workshop barefooted. He held out a glass of steaming tea in his hand. Master Ji, he asked once more, his voice filled with concern. So he thought that, Master Ji is not well. So he asked with concern. His voice filled with concern. He said, Master Ji, drink this glass of tea. The old man looked up. His face was ashen. His face was ashen means he looked pale. He was worried. He looked old and very tired. He beckoned the boy to come closer and motioned him to sit down. He asked the boy to sit down with him and come close and sit here. Salim, he said gently, soon I will be the last stonemason here. Now he said to Salim that soon I will be the last stonemason here because now my son is not continuing this work and this legacy will end here only. All the others would have gone to Agra. There they are turning out cheap candle stands, paperweights and ashtrays by the dozen. Now they are making all these things by dozen. They are making money, but they betray our skill, our age-old tradition. Now Gopal has also gone. I will have to finish the sculpture alone and with the help of God, I will do it, Salim. He said, now Gopal has left me. As the old man was left alone and he was physically weak, so he struggles to complete his masterpiece. That is why he was sharing this thing with his servants Salim, that how will I complete the statue of Lord Krishna alone? Okay, because it was a big sculpture. Okay. Then he said, I know you will, Master Ji. Salim said these lines to Master Ji. The boy answered, you will make many more larger and more beautiful temple structures. Now the boy is motivating his Master Ji, his boss, that no, I know you will make it and you will make more statues, many more statues, more beautiful and larger ones. The old man looked at the orphan boy who had come to work for him 5 years ago. Now, Salim was an orphan boy who had come to stay with him 5 years ago. Okay, why? He came because he was drenched to the skin, dressed in tatters, and he had begged for shelter during a furious monsoon storm because he was left alone outside on a furious monsoon storm. So he came to rescue himself, to his rescue, and he wanted a shelter. That is why that is how he became a servant of Master Ji. So Master Ji gave him that shelter, and then from then onwards he has stayed on to work for the old master craftsman. He had gone tall and strong. The old man knew that Salim too would leave him one day. Now because the young man Salim is also turning young, he will also be agitated the same way his son is, and then he will also leave him one day. He sighed and looked into the serious eyes of the boy, clouded with sadness, a sadness that the old man could not understand. Now that boy was also sad, okay, because Why he was sad? Because he was not able to see that disappointment, that, you know, that sense of feeling weak of his master ji. That is why he was sad. He shook his head. My strength is waning. Now Masterji said, I am becoming weaker. I can't work with a chisel like I used to. Carving takes too long, much too long. Then he straightened up and said with fresh determination, I will have to finish this work and surely I will. Now because carving was done by Gopal, he was very good at it. So now Masterji is saying that I can't do everything myself because I am becoming weaker. I am old. But then after some time he was again, determined that no, I will complete this work and surely I will. And then Salim said, yes, you will. The boy repeated, offering his master the glass of tea. Drink, please. It will do you good. Then he added, I have to go to the market for an hour or two, but I will be back in time to prepare dinner. And then he informed Masterji that I will be going to the market for an hour or two and then I will be back by dinner time and I will prepare the dinner. The old man nodded and thought, he has been going to the market too often lately. I hope he hasn't fallen into bad company. Now the old man was murmuring for Salim because he used to care for Salim as well, just like his son. So he said, I hope that he has not fallen into a bad company. Why he is going to the market quite often? Okay. He shot a questioning glance at the boy who turned and left the room. The old man sighed and picked up the chisel and hammer. The cool metal of the tool filled him with happiness and confidence. Now, because he was doing this from a very early age and from generations, he was seeing this. So, whenever he used to pick his tools also in his hand, he used to feel motivated. He loved his work and didn't want to change it for any other in the world. Okay, he used to worship his work. He used to think that because he is carving statues for gods and goddesses, so it is like a worship of God. Okay. Days and weeks went by. It was a month since Gopal had left. The old man worked tirelessly from morning till late at night. He worked on the sculpture. It was all there in the stone, the strong, straight shoulders of Krishna, his soft curved hips. He was making it with so much dedication that everything was there. The strong, straight shoulders of Krishna, his soft curved hips. He could see the pointed fingers holding the flute delicately to his lips. His serene face eternally beautiful. Eternally beautiful means always beautiful. The old man could see it in the stone. He could feel it. He only had to set it free with his chisel. Set it free with his chisel means he only have to carve it out. He can see, he was imagining because he has made so many sculptures. Now he can imagine as soon as, just put his hand on that sculpture and he used to, he just have to carve it out. He didn't feel hunger, he didn't feel thirst because he had to complete this work as soon as possible. He was not hungry, he was not feeling any kind of thirst. He was just determined to complete the work, the statue. So he worked day and night without any rest for several days, right? He was driven by the desire to finish the sculpture in time. It was his biggest piece, his best. It would also be his last. Now he was thinking, this is my best piece, but now because Gopal has left and there was no one to help him with his work, so this will be his last. Okay. On and on he worked, his chisel striking the stone again and again because now he has started carving it out. But then came the day when the old man felt his strength ebb. His strength ebb means he was feeling really weak now. And his hands trembled under the impact of the hammer because hammer takes a great effort and his hands were weak and he was old so that he was not able to put that pressure. Okay. His shoulders began to ache. His shoulders began start feeling pain. His arms felt heavy and his eyes grew tired now because he was working continuously day and night without any rest, without taking care of what he's eating, what he's drinking. That is why now his eyes have also grown tired and he is also feeling weak. Then his vision blurred and he could not see the shape of Krishna embedded in the stone. His vision blurred means he could not see clearly now because he was extremely tired. He needs some rest. Overcome with fear, he sank to his knees and prayed. Master Ji, Salim said, you haven't touched your food again. Now again came Salim. Now he said, why haven't touched your food? Please have some rice and vegetables. You only had a glass of milk for breakfast because you have not eaten anything. You have to eat curd as well. You like curd. I know you like. The old man looked up. He whispered, I don't think I will be able to finish it. If Gopal was here, it would be different. Now again, he was feeling disappointed. He used to, remember how Gopal used to work with so much dedication, and because he was young, so he had that strength in his hands. Okay, so he thinks that Gopal will help him now. How he will be able to complete the statue he is carving, but he finds that it is not Gopal. Okay, but now he sees that no, Gopal is not here to help him. He nodded absent mindedly to himself and continued. He wasn't the best of craftsmen, but he was good and strong. Now he says that Gopal was not the best craftsman because he is still learning, but he was good and strong. He chipped off the stone layer by layer as if it were clay. So he was very good at chipping the stone, okay? He hadn't yet learned to carve the finer details, but in a year or two he would have learned surely. So he says that Gopal was not very, perfect at his work, but he we used to do this carving very nicely. He fell silent. It was the features and hands that gave him trouble. There was something missing in his figures. That's something which can't be taught. So he says that only he was not able to carve the features, the eyes, the nose, the hands properly, but he used to manage. Okay, because and then he says that this can't be taught. This have to be come from within your that art, that that skill used to has to be come from within, that can't be taught. Then he adds, because it comes from somewhere deep inside you, Salim whispered that because it comes from somewhere deep inside you, if you have dedication to do something, then it comes from inside you. This is nothing to be learned, okay, from deep inside here. And he pointed to his heart. This has to come from the heart. The old man looked at the boy surprised. He saw his blush and turn his face away. And the old man now was surprised to hear the views Salim has about the art. You are right, Salim, you are right, he said. And then he added with sudden bitterness, and if you don't have it here, he thumped his chest, then you would better go to Agra and mass produce ashtrays for the tourists from abroad. He said, and if you don't have it here in your heart, then you also must go to Agra and produce ashtrays for the tourists from abroad and make money. Then the old man coughed painfully and reached for his glass of water. Eat, Master Ji, eat. Everything will be all right, Salim said. After he had eaten, the old man once again took up his hammer and chisel. He worked it late in the night. He prayed for the help and strength, and he prayed for his son. In the early hours of the morning, the chisel fell from his hand and the hammer dropped to the ground. Now, because he was very tired of effortlessly doing the works, now the hammer and chisel fell from his hand and dropped to the ground. His whole body sagged, falling forward limply. His forehead struck Krishna's flute and slid down the statue to rest on the pedestal. Now he became unconscious and his forehead touched Krishna's flute. Hi Ram, he muttered and sank into a comfortable darkness. When he opened his eyes, now when after the rest, he opened his eyes, he found himself lying on a cot in his bedroom covered by a light cotton blanket, because Salim used to take very good care of his master ji. From the workshop, the chipping sound of the chisel reached his ears. Now, as soon as he got up, he opened his eyes. He saw someone completing the statue that was left unfinished. He was able to hear the sound of the chisel and hammer. Had his ears deceived him? Now he was thinking that, has his ears deceived it? Now, is he hearing something wrong? No, he could hear it again, the strong blow of the hammer on the top of the chisel. He thought Gopal is back and he rushed with, so much of excitement. Gopal, he was back. Gopal had returned. He would help him. They would finish the statue. He stumbled to his feet, crossed the small room, and reached the door. Gopal, he was about to shout when the words froze on his lips. Now he was just about to shout Gopal, but as he saw Salim is sitting there and doing the work, he wanted to cry out, stop, stop the work, but he couldn't move. Shock had immobilized him. Now he had never expected that Salim know this. Salim would help him in any ways, okay? Shock had immobilized him means he was so shocked that he could not move. He stood staring at the back of the young stone carver working on the face of the statue, on the eyebrows, arcing over a pair of fine eyes. Now Salim has learned everything secretly, okay? Now he has no one has that idea that Salim know all this, and he was doing it so perfectly. Gopal also was not that perfect, okay. And then Salim told him that he was practicing this sculpting secretly for almost 2 years in the quarry. Okay, he wanted to become a sculptor just like his master, right? Then it wasn't his son sitting cross-legged before the biggest statue he had ever carved. It was Salim, his servant. The old man watched stunned. The first wave of shock, fear, and anger passed. Now everything, shock, fear, anger passed. He was calm. He said, "Hi, Ram." The old man whispered, "Hi, Ram," and tottered over to the boy. Dropping his hand on his shoulder, he said softly, "Salim." The startled boy turned and looked up at his master. He rose to his feet clumsily, the hammer and chisel still in his hands. Salim, the old man, searched for words. I only wanted to help. He said, "I only wanted to help," whispered the boy. "I will learn if you teach me, Master Ji." He said, "If you will teach me, Master Ji, I will learn." He wanted to become a sculptor, so he begged his master to teach him, okay, the stone carving, this art. And then he told that I have practiced secretly for almost 2 years in the quarry. Quarry means a place where stones are cut. Now Salim was a Muslim, so the old man, his master ji, had never thought that this person will make these statues for Hindu gods. Okay, he said, "I am a Muslim. I know I should not carve the image of God. But isn't this different, Master Ji? I am carving a sculpture, aren't I? A beautiful sculpture that has different meanings for different people. Isn't it so, Master Ji? Please tell me. For many years I wanted to become a sculptor, yet I fought this feeling. I fought the feeling means I did not give up in the urge. Okay. But it proved too strong. I knew there is something in this world I would like to do more. There is nothing in life I could do better." Then, from the last 2 years, he wanted to do this so badly. He was so eager to learn the sculpting and want to do this. So he said, "Now I don't want to, rush into it, but I want to learn it slowly and slowly, and will master it." Okay, so he told all these things, all his feelings to Master Ji. And then he also asked, "Will you please teach me, Master Ji?" The old man pulled the boy's head against his shoulder and whispered, "There is nothing I can teach you, my son. Go ahead. You have it in your hands and in your heart. I know you will be the one of the country's finest stonemasons." Now the old man told him that I can't teach you anything. You already have it, that art in your hand, that talent in your hands, that skill in your hands and heart. And then he said, "You will be the country's finest stonemasons," because Master Ji was doing this work from a long time, and he can easily verify, he can easily see the skill of a person who know this, just like him. So he said, "Now you will be the country's finest stonemason." And he found a successor after all, in the face of Salim. Okay. And then he was finally relieved that the tradition will not die and the tradition will live on through Salim, declaring him a true artist. Right? So here we come to the end of this chapter, and the story is written by Sigrun Srivastav. Right? And I will post this question and answers in another video. Thank you.